On behalf of Kumbakonam branch of SIRC of ICAI, we welcome you all for the online seminar on financial aspects of petrol bunk business and beyond under GST beyond 3B, and it is jointly hosted by Trichy branch and Pondicherry branch. I request our Chairman CAG Ganesh to Kumbakonam Chairman CAG Ganesh to give a welcome address. Sir, the session, mic is yours.
So good evening to each one of you joining us today. On behalf of the Kumbakonam branch of the SIRC of ICAI, along with our Tiruchirappalli and Puducherry branches, I warmly welcome you all to this online seminar on GST and compliance challenges for professionals. In today's ever-changing landscape, staying updated is essential. This session is designed to address practical issues faced by chartered accountants, particularly in managing petrol pump businesses and navigating GST compliances beyond GSTR 3B. We are privileged to have with us distinguished speakers who will share their insights on key financial and compliance aspects relevant to our profession. We kindly request all participants to remain muted during the session, and if possible, switch on your video to make the interaction more engaging. A question and answer session will be held subject to the time availability. So thank you for your participation and continued support. Wishing you all a fruitful and insightful evening ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I request Chairperson of Tiruchirappalli branch, Ms. C.A. Vidubala, to give an introduction to our speaker, Mr. Nadarajan Balasubramanian.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. Let me introduce speaker of today's first session on financial and complaints aspect of petrol pump business by CAB Nadarajan, sir. He is the principal partner of Messrs. Balasubramanian, having office at Chidambaram and also having branches at Karaikal and Bangalore. The firm marks its 75th anniversary of professional service on 29th April 2025. Congrats, sir. He is practicing in the area of direct tax and has nearly 43 years of pre and post qualification experience in representation. He is also advising clients on GST Act also. He is a member of the Bombay Chartered Accountants Association and also Society of Auditors, Chennai. He is giving lectures on Income Tax Act, GST, and also various provisions of budget proposals also, and various chambers of commerce and branches of the institute. With this, I welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Vidubala.
Nadarajan, sir, the session is yours.
Okay.
We have structured this online seminar into two sessions, sir. One is 6 to 7, it is yours, and from 7 to 8, it is Mr. Bimal Jain. Okay, sir. Fine, sir. Now it is yours.
Okay. Good evening, friends. It's a pleasure to be with you all today. I thank the Pondicherry, Tiruchi, and Kumbakonam branches for having selected me to present this subject. Actually, I had suggested this for a study circle meeting. Am I audible? Hello?
Yeah, you proceed.
Okay. So you proceed, sir. It is fine.
Okay, thank you. I had actually suggested this as a study circle meeting for my chairman, but he has chosen to make it an online seminar. I'm thankful to him. Just a minute, we will start with this presentation now. The subject given to me is the financial and compliance aspects of petrol pump business. It seems it may be very small. Petrol pump business is just like another business, just a purchase and sales of goods. Then what is the financial and compliance aspects that we may have to face? I have divided it into 4 areas. Key issues in accounting: purchase and sales, closing stock quantity, closing stock valuation, accounting for SSLF, or LFR, accounting for other rent, accounting for differential dealer margin, accounting for other charges, accounting for evaporation, accounting for tanker lorry operations, accounting for digital receipt, accounting for tax deduction at source, accounting for tax collection at source, accounting for input tax credit in GST. Why I am giving importance to accounting is, if the accounts are properly made, half the audit is done. You may be sharing it with your clients, so I have given more importance to the accounting aspects as far as the petrol pump business is concerned. The key issues in income tax are tax deduction at source, tax collection at source, evaporation percentage, closing stock valuation, gross profit checking, cross verification of purchases with SSLF, cross verification of purchases with differential dealer margin, treat card balance confirmation and perquisites on which TDS is made under section 194R, OMC, other oil manufacturing company balance confirmation, UPI transactions and debtor balances. The key issues in GST which you will be looking into today is, one is input tax credit. What are all the available input credits which you can avail, which is ineligible, which is partly eligible, partly not eligible. Output tax liability, raising of tax invoices and taxability of PDS kerosene. In case of some petrol dealers who have got kerosene depot also. For them, the PDS kerosene issue is there. Key issues in VAT, value added tax. As you know, petrol and diesel are non-GST commodities. They are covered under VAT. So the monthly returns in Form I, Form J has to be filed. And similarly, annual return has to be filed in Form W, Form CC, which we have to look into later. Accounting, purchase and sales. As far as petrol and diesel are concerned, there is a central duty and a state VAT. Most dealers record purchases as per invoice. Is there no issues? Some dealers split purchases into purchases VAT for VAT and account for VAT as a separate item. The type of accounting will make it convenient for them to correlate TDS on purchases under section 194Q. As you know, most of the petrol pumps turnover exceeds 10 crores. So 194Q TDS on purchases is there. If you want to arrive at the figure as per the CBDT classification, there no TDS is required for VAT or GST. So this will be helpful for them to arrive at the TDS amount to be deducted. Earlier it was an issue, but now the oil companies themselves, they provisional credit for the TDS, and so it is easier for us nowadays. Sales are recorded at appropriate rates and no split for VAT is required, as petroleum products are second schedule goods and taxable only at the first point of sale in the state. So no separate VAT in the collection is made in the sales. Closing stock quantity. What is the issue there? Why should we make it as a single separate item to be checked into? Because at the petrol pump there is a statutory register called daily sales register, where all the stock sales input everything is recorded and verified by the respective sales managers, area sales manager periodically. This is a statutory register under the petroleum petrol companies which have to maintain compulsorily. So the closing stock quantity as at the year end should match with the closing stock as per daily sales register. The evaporation should be accounted accordingly, only on the basis of what is missing and not on a specified percentage. Why I am giving importance to this is, I have seen cases when I underwent bank audit, the closing stock as per DSR was valued at 12 lakh and something, whereas in the income tax audit report, the closing stock value was only 6 lakh 30,000, nearly 6 lakhs was undervalued. So we have to check the DSR compulsorily, and the closing stock quantity should tally with the daily sales register. Similarly, the closing stock quantity should not exceed the underground tank capacity. As you all know, the petrol or diesel is stored in underground tanks. They have got a capacity of 16 KL, 25 KL, and 40 KL. Yes, sir. 16 KL, 25 KL, and 40 KL. There are three types of tanks available. So when a tank capacity is 16 KL, you cannot store 20 KL in that tank. So you will have to check whether the underground tank capacity supports the quantity that is declared in the accounts. However, if the purchase is made in the evening and is not fed into the tank but kept in the tanker, it can be more than the tank capacity. Closing stock valuation. The closing stock should normally be valued on first in, first out basis. However, where the selling price is reduced after the purchase, because nowadays it is after May 2022, the prices are almost stable. Previously, the rates were decided every day. So if the prices is reduced on the last day, we have to reduce the stock value to the net realizable value and not on the cost. The closing stock should not be valued at weighted average cost, as the stock is a fast moving item and FIFO is the appropriate method. Please check valuation method in Tally accounting package. Default valuation in Tally package is normally average cost. Please ensure it is set to first in, first out perpetual. So it will give you the proper closing stock valuation. SSLF or LFR, service station letting fee, or some companies call it license fee recovery, is a rent charged by the oil manufacturing companies from the petrol pump dealers. For charging SSLF, LFR, OMCs have oil manufacturing companies. OMCs have categorized the outlets into two: outlets operating from A site and outlets operating from B site. Sites owned or leased by OMCs are called A sites. The situations are either it is a company land or a land where the oil manufacturing companies have leased it from the landowners and the petrol pump is allotted to someone else, maybe to the landlord, but there is a lease agreement between the landlord and the oil manufacturing company. Sites owned or leased by the dealers are called B sites. Here the situation is either the outlet operator is the owner of the site or he has leased it from someone else and obtained license from OMCs to run a petrol pump. What is the difference as far as these are concerned in charging SSLF? OMCs charge rent per kiloliter of purchase of petrol or diesel. The rent varies for A sites and B sites. For A sites, the rent charge is rupees 369.35 per KL of petrol, MS means petrol, and rupees 307.79 per KL of HSD. This rent includes rent for use of both land and machinery. For B sites, the rent charges are rupees 182.38 per KL of MS and rupees 151.99 per KL of HSD. This rent is for the use of machinery only, machinery and the tank. The OMCs also charge other rents for items other than SSLF and LFR. They are rent for VSAT connection, rent for car swiping machine, the POS machine that we have in the petrol pump, rent for non-fuel business. Non-fuel business means when the petrol pump operates other business other than petrol, like sale of water, sale of biscuits, sale of coffee machine they make, or they give it sublet to a restaurant for doing selling items for which they collect rent. So in turn, the oil manufacturing companies, they collect rent for non-fuel business. Rent for vehicle tracking system, this is for the tanker lorry. And then there is a thing called differential dealer margin. This is a discount allowed by OMCs depending on the purchase of petroleum products. Kerala GSTAR has in 2024 held in the case of P. Achyutan Nair and Company that the differential dealer margin is in the nature of a consideration received for agreeing to an obligation to refrain from an act and hence is a taxable supply and GST is attracted at 18%. I will explain. When some petrol pumps cannot achieve the target, the company, oil manufacturing companies give them some discount to make good their loss. This is mainly because there are some other petrol pumps coming in the nearby area. This is what the AIR has decided. And in order to not to surrender the license, they say the OMCs give them differential dealer margin. So this is an act to refrain from an act and is taxable under second schedule to the CGST Act. And is tax as it is a service and is taxable at 18%. This is the view of the Kerala AIR. You have to decide whether you accept this or not and decide on how to account for the differential dealer margin. When it comes to GST, I will explain this more detailed. Other charges. OMCs also collect interest on delayed payment of invoice. They are also classified as charges, and there are some other charges which they charge. Please check all transactions with the nomenclature charges and decide whether to account as interest payment or not. If the charges relate to interest on delayed payment of the invoices, TDS is attracted under section 199A if the interest exceeds 5,000 rupees for the year ending 31/3/25 and 10,000 for the year beginning 1st April 25, and due entry should be passed. Tanker lorry operations. Most of the petrol pump owners also operate a tanker lorry. There are two methods of accounting for the income. One is either account for it trip-wise, which is preferable, or month-wise. Because the income GST Act allows you to raise the invoice once in a month, you can account for it month-wise also. Once the invoice is raised, the payment is made by OMCs partly through bank and partly by recharging cards. Extra Power Fleet Card by IOCL, Drive Track Plus Card by HPCL, and Smart Fleet Card by BPCL. At this juncture, I would like to tell you, I am concentrating more on public sector oil manufacturing companies and not on the private because their accounting is different. This is more clients to us, so we need to check all these things. How they make the payment is, some make the payment, 75% of the payment is made by check, 25% by recharging cards. Some companies pay 70% through bank and 30% through recharge cards. And I don't understand the concept. They say this will help them to purchase the diesel for the tanker lorry from their own bunks and not from other OMC's bunk. But as most of the operators already own a bunk, they won't be filling fuel from other bunks, but they will be doing it only in their bunks. What is the purpose of this fleet card? I don't know. And what normally happens is 15th it is credited, 16th it is encashed. They simply swipe the card, get the money credited to OMC account, and they are happy. So please check the card. There is a separate accounting statement given for the card operations. Please check the card statement, credit the card account, debit the OMC account. Don't pass regular entries like sale through swiping cards. Don't make it as a sale entry. Whenever the card is encashed, please ensure that it is not shown as a sales, but shown as credit card account, debit OMC account. check for VTS recovery, vehicle tracking system recovery, and toll reimbursement, and pass entries accordingly in the tanker lorry account. Digital receipts. It is now digital India, and almost all the payments are now through digital mode. Create a debtor ledger with the UPI card payment facilitator as debtor, and debit the daily digital sales amount and credit the same to sale. Credit the facilitator and debit bank account on realization. Account for the facilitator's commission or service charges. Deduct tax at source if warranted. Tax deduction at source. TDS compliance is mandatory for the following expenses. Interest on delayed payment of bills under section 194A if it exceeds the threshold limit. 10 payment under section 194I as follows. 10% of SSLF if AS8. I already told you it is AS8 is for rent is for both land and machinery. Since it involves land, 10% TDS is must. If it is a B site, it is only for rent for machinery, so 2% is the TDS rate. 2% TDS on VSAT rent, 2% rent on swiping machine rent, 2% on VTS payments. The VTS payments will be around 360 rupees per month. It will be deduced from the tanker lorry rent payment. The swiping machine rent is around 1,200 rupees per month, and you can find it in the day every month in the statement. VSAT rent also is collected every month. It varies from place to place. And as far as the 194I payment is concerned, earlier it was 2,40,000 per annum. Most of the petrol pumps will exceed that threshold, so we are insisting on TDS. Now, the threshold is now changed from manual to monthly. So if it exceeds 50,000 per month, we have to deduct tax. If it does not exceed 50,000 per month, we need not deduct tax. How to address this issue is one area we need to concentrate. Every month you have to check the TDS rent payment, and if it exceeds 50,000, wherever it exceeds 50,000, you have to compulsorily make a deduction. And if it does not exceed 50,000 rupees, you need not deduct. That is as simple as that. But like every act, you will have complications. So better if you feel that some months it will exceed 50,000, better ask the client to deduct tax fully. The companies are reimbursing it, no issues. And then 0.1% on purchases under section 194Q, as most of the petrol pumps will have turnover exceeding 10 crores. Tax collection at source. Supply of fuel and oil to some customers may exceed 50 lakhs in a year. TCS under section 206C1H is attracted in such cases where collection exceeds 50 lakhs. This is mandatory till 31/3/2025. As you all know, 206C1H is discontinued from 1/4/2025. But since we will be auditing the accounts for the year ending 31/3/2025, I have given this. The possible customers are only some road contractors who are purchasing for their vehicles with so many road work going on. Some petrol pumps will have big customers in the traffic contractor. Similarly, the petrol pumps located near toll gates. The toll gates also buy purchase petrol or diesel for the generators. It may not exceed 50 lakhs, but some cases it may. And then some transport operators and colleges which run through so many buses. Chances are you may exceed 50 lakhs. Please check everything. Then as far as the education institutions and other concerns are concerned, they partly pay in through bank, partly through the card. That is the issue. You will have to check whether the card payment is made as shown as your collection in your case, you will have to deduct collect tax at 0.1% under section 206C1H. So we ensure that the customers' accounts are properly checked and TCS provisions are complied with. Input tax credit, GST. PAT ITC can be merged with purchases or cost are shown as direct expense as the products are second schedule goods. No need to maintain separate account. GST ITC is not available on the following and can be accounted as ineligible or blocked ITC. SSLF, interest on delayed payment, VSAT rent, swiping machine rent, VTS payment, digital payment commission, tanker lorry insurance, maintenance expenses. All these are in response to non-GST supply or exempt services. So there is no GST ITC available for these things. GST on purchase of oil, grease, acid, diesel, distilled water, and yellow blue cloth and non-fuel business rent can be availed as they relate to taxable items. GST ITC is available pro rata on the following can be accounted as deferred ITC and ITC claimed in the year end to the extent eligible. One is bank charge, two is audit fees. Any other such common credit can be even rent paid for the site. If you are B site owner, you can claim it. So these are common credits. You can claim it in the year end subject to provisions of GST Act. TDS and TCS compliance. As far as this now, we have come to the issues that we need to check in income tax audit. We already discussed earlier. It will be repeated, but we will be discussing in detail now. Interest on delayed payment of bills under section 194A. As a result, if it exceeds the threshold limit, we have to deduct tax on interest payments. These interest payments happen when we make a delayed payment of the invoices, and that is charged with the that is shown as charges, and they don't show it as interest. They, in the narration, they show it as interest. Please check, and if the client has accounted for most of the clients say HPCL charges, IOC charges. Please check all those entries in under the nomenclature charges and check. Interest on loans availed under section 194A. This is all of you know. This is not related to petrol pump alone. As far as rent payment is concerned, we already discussed the latest amendment also. These are the TDS rates. 10% if A site, 2% in all other cases. 0.1% on purchase under section 194Q. 2% or 1% on lorry maintenance. 10% on audit fees, professional charges. 0.1% TCS on debtor collection till 31/3/2025. Next issue that we need to check income tax is closing stock valuation, evaporation and gross profit. As already discussed, please ensure that the closing stock is valued at FIFO. Ministry of Petroleum allows evaporation loss of 0.6% for petrol and 0.2% for diesel. Please ensure that the evaporation percentage does not exceed the permissible limits. If there is a more evaluation, please check the reasons for such higher loss. Let me tell you, the evaporation is not uniform around all the petrol pumps. If the petrol pump is a bigger one, the evaporation is less, contrary to popular belief, because the exposure to normal air is less. If it is a small petrol pump where more two-wheelers fill petrol, the nozzle comes into contact with the air more frequently and there is higher evaporation loss. So just the 0.6% and 0.2% are only ballpark figures. Don't think that we can claim evaporation to such extent automatically. OMCs allowed a margin of rupees 3.49. Another reason for higher loss of evaporation is sometimes when the water gets seeped into the tank, then the oil, petrol or diesel becomes unsaleable, that is discharged, and the oil tank is made correct. In such cases, the company doesn't reimburse it, so there will be a higher loss. In case of higher loss of evaporation than 0.6% or 0.2%, please ensure why such higher loss has occurred, and if you are satisfied, then accept the same. Next, regard to gross profit. OMCs allowed a margin of rupees 3.49 paise per liter of petrol and 2.24 paise per liter of diesel from 1/4/2024 to 29/10/2024. This has been revised to rupees 4 per liter of petrol and rupees 2.58 per liter of diesel with effect from 30/10/2024. Verify the gross profit considering this margin and the sales volume. Just multiply the sales volume into the margin. Reduce the loss due to evaporation and estimate say 10 to 20% on the oil sales. If the gross profit comes nearer to that, the gross profit is correct. Cross verification of purchase volume. As I already stated, for acids, LFR charged is rupees 369.35 per KL, and for diesel, rupees 307.79 per KL. For B sides also, the charges are here. Differential dealer commission is paid as per the following chart. Up to 25 KL, there is a charge. 26 to 50 KL, there is a fixed charge. The fixed charge is, it is given to you, and where differential dealer commission is on the balance. On the value for 25 KL, 16,400 is the minimum, plus whatever you have purchased into 0.2367 per liter will be given to you as dealer commission. Using the above figures, please check whether the purchases are properly accounted. If yours is a site, if 20,000 liters of motor spirit has purchased, just multiply 20 into 369.35. Similarly, 40 KL of diesel, 40 into 3.79. If the SSL for that month comes to that figure, then the purchase is properly accounted. Now we have come to GST. Output tax liability. The following items which are normally sold in petrol pumps are liable to GST: grease, lubricants and oils, yellow and blue cloth, distilled and acid water. Some petrol pumps also sell soft drinks, ice creams, coffee and tea, biscuits and snacks, bottled water. Distilled and acid water is taxed at 5%, I think, and oil is taxed at 18%. So tax at appropriate rates have to be collected and remitted to the GST authorities on the sales by the outlet. Check the type tax liability is correctly reported. Input tax credit. GST ITC is not available on the following and can be accounted as ineligible or blocked, as we already discussed this. All these relate to exempt or non-GST items. So there is no ITC credit for these items. And the purchase of oil and non-fuel business rent and purchase of water, bottled drinks, biscuits, everything, it is eligible, you can claim it. Bank charges, audit fees and other common charges, GST ITC is available pro rata and can be claimed to the extent eligible under section 17(2). But in my experience, I have seen that it is less than 1% of the total GST. It comes to hardly 1,000, 2,000 rupees per year. So instead of working it out, you can let it lapse. let the decision be the client's. GST liability on differential dealer margin, which we are discussing earlier. This is the rate charge. Up to 25 KL, 16,400 is paid to the client, dealer outlet, plus 0.2367 for every liter of purchase. For 26 to 50, the fixed charges rise, whereas the variable charges remain the same. 51 to 100, 101 to 150, 151 to 170, it's also the same. Fixed charges rise, variable charges remain same. From 171 to 400 KL, there is no fixed charge. It is only on a variable pattern. 401 to 600, 601 to 800. And they have decided that no petrol pump will be able to purchase more than 800 KL in a month. So they have decided they have stopped at that. As far as beyond 400 KL, it is reducing. So differential dealer margin is same up to 170 kiloliters of offtake. The margin increases for offtake up to 400 KL, and then there is a decline in margin. So in such a case, the view of the AIR that the differential dealer margin is paid to refrain from an act is not correct in my view. You can check yourself and take a call on this. Kerosene dealership. Some old petrol operators are also given kerosene dealership. The new operators don't get it. And such kerosene dealers supply to PDS. GST is payable on kerosene as follows. Kerosene for PDS distribution is 5% taxable. Kerosene for other use is 18% taxable. So the petrol pump dealers who have kerosene depot have to collect tax at 5% on the kerosene for PDS distribution. Earlier under the VAT, kerosene for PDS distribution was tax exempt. And many dealers I have seen are still following the same principle. They don't collect, they don't pay tax for the kerosene for PDS distribution, even though in the purchase invoice there is a 5% tax. Ensure the tax liability for kerosene is discharged by the client. Client has to raise e-invoices for sales to registered person. Input tax credit is eligible for tax component in the purchase made. Next issue in GST is with reference to invoicing issues. Some issues in invoices. RCM invoice is to be issued by the petrol pumps or tanker lorry hire. Non-generation of invoice may invite penalty under section 125. Cash should be taken whenever taxable supply is made to registered person and e-invoice is generated, because most of the petrol pumps will have turnover more than 5 crores. Petrol pumps located in the highway supply fuel to toll companies located nearby. If they supply oil and other taxable commodities, then e-invoice has to be generated since such sales are B2B supplies. Cash should be taken to raise at least one consolidated B2C tax invoice for sale of taxable supplies daily, as it is mandatory to raise tax invoice for sale of taxable goods. None of the petrol dealers raise invoice for the oil sales. Ensure and advise your clients to raise and keep the tax invoice for oil supplies made to B2C clients. If the value of a B2C transaction exceeds 200 rupees, if the client asks for the tax invoice, you have to give a tax invoice. So otherwise, if you don't do it, you are liable for penalty under section 125, which is 25,000 rupees per default. And some cases, as far as the invoice default is concerned, it is 10,000 rupees under CGST and 10,000 rupees under SGST. Instead of that, it is better to raise tax invoices for B2C sales every day. VAT. Why we have taken VAT is that because it is a VATable commodity, I have divided it into two, Tamil Nadu dealers and Puducherry dealers. Sale of petrol and diesel is outside the ambit of GST law. You all know it and is subjected to value-added tax laws. The products are classified in the second schedule and tax is levied on the first point of sale in the state. Dealers in Tamil Nadu need not collect tax on sale, but they need to file monthly VAT returns in Form I and annual returns in Form WW if the annual turnover is above 1 crore, which will be there for almost all the clients. If penalty for not filing annual return in Form WW is 10,000 rupees. VAT and CST for Puducherry dealers. The outlets in Puducherry Union Territory purchase petrol and diesel from outside the Union Territory, and hence the sales at the outlet is the first point of sale in the Union Territory. So dealers in Puducherry have to collect VAT and remit the same every month and file monthly VAT returns in Form J and annual tax return in Form CC if turnover exceeds rupees 1 crore. Dealers in Puducherry also have to file monthly CST returns and also issue Form C under CST Act, as they will be registered under the CST Act for interstate purchase of petrol and diesel. Friends, any questions? I am willing to answer.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful presentation.
Ganesh sir, I have 2 questions have come. I have asked in the chat box.
Start பண்ணுங்க.
Natarajan sir, there are 2 questions.
சொல்லுங்க.
இது வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா இப்போ நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி அந்த இதுல see for என்ன சொல்றது கேரளா ஏஆர்.
ஆமா.
அது வந்து ஐ எம் ஆஃப் யுவர் வியூ, அது வந்து தேவையில்லையோன்னு தோன்றது.
இல்ல ஆக்சுவலா அவங்க என்ன சொல்றாங்க அப்படின்னா அக்ரிமெண்ட்ல இல்ல. I have gone through the agreements till 2023-24 dealership agreements. There is no such condition. 2024ல புதுசா வந்தவங்க எல்லாம் கேட்டாங்க கொடுக்குறாங்கன்னு சொல்றாங்களே தவிர்த்து டிஃபரன்ஷியல் டீலர் கமிஷன்ங்கிறது வந்து சேம் ஃபார் தி எவரி ஸ்லாப் ஆஃப் சேல். அப்போ வந்து வேர் இஸ் த கொஸ்டின் ஆஃப் எனி எக்ஸ்ட்ரா பேமெண்ட் டு prevent the dealer from closing down the petrol pump.
அதுதான் இப்போ for refraining the actனா அவன் சார்ஜ் பண்ண ஆயில் கம்பெனி சார்ஜ் பண்ணா ஆயில் கம்பெனி அதுக்கு ஜிஎஸ்டி போடணும்.
ஆமா,
அவன் சார்ஜ் பண்ணி இது வந்து இட் இஸ் a சப்போர்ட். என்ன சொல்றது ஒரு
இல்ல அதாவது ஆக்ட் என்ன சொல்லுதுன்னா ஒரு நிமிஷம் schedule 5E என்ன சொல்றது, agreeing to the obligation to refrain from an act or to tolerate an act or a situation or to do an act அப்படிங்கிறது is deemed to be a supply of goods. Activity is the transaction to be treated as supply of goods or supply of services. இதை தான் அவங்க கொண்டு வராங்க. ஆக்சுவலா என்ன அப்படின்னா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஏஆருக்கு போயிருக்க கூடாது. ஒரு தமிழ்நாட்டுல வேட் வந்தபோது ஒரு கரூர்ல ஒரு டீலர் என்ன பண்ணாரு, இந்த ரீசார்ஜ் கூப்பன் இருக்கு இல்லையா செல்போன், அதுக்கு டாக்ஸ் உண்டா இல்லையா அப்படின்னு போய் கேட்டார் கமிஷனரை. அவர் உடனே அது வந்து எலக்ட்ரானிக் கமாடிட்டி 5% டாக்ஸ்ன்றார். ஏன்னா அது சர்வீஸ் டாக்ஸ்ல எம்ஆர்பி வரைக்கும் சர்வீஸ் டாக்ஸ் கலெக்ட் பண்ணி இட் இஸ் சர்வீஸ். ஹலோ ரைட். அப்படிங்கும் போது அதை எப்படி குட்ஸ்னு கொண்டு போக முடியும்? நம்ம இவங்க எல்லாம் என்ன பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தாங்க, பர்ச்சேஸாக அக்கௌண்ட் பண்ணி சேல்ஸாக அக்கௌண்ட் பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தாங்க, சர்வீஸ் கமிஷன் மட்டும் அக்கௌண்ட் பண்ணாமல். ஸோ அதில் அவங்களுக்கு டேக்ஸ் கட்டணுமா வேணாமா அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி. அதே மாதிரி இப்போ ஏஆர்ல போய் கேட்டால் அவங்க டேக்ஸ் உண்டுன்னு தான் சொல்லுவாங்க. பட் வேர் இஸ் த கொஸ்டின் ஆஃப் எனி எக்ஸ்ட்ரா பேமெண்ட் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் 25 KLக்கு அப்புறம் அடுத்த 26 to 50 KLக்கு ஃபிக்ஸட் சார்ஜஸ் குறைஞ்சாலும் 25 KLக்கு கூட கொடுத்துருக்கான் அப்படின்னு சொல்லலாம். 16,400 25 KL வரைக்கும் ஃபிக்ஸட் சார்ஜ், 26லேருந்து 50க்கு 27,400 ரூபாய் ஃபிக்ஸட் சார்ஜுங்கும் போது வேர் இஸ் த கொஸ்டின் ஆஃப் மேக்கிங் அப் ஃபார் லாஸ்?
இல்ல ரெண்டாவது பெனல்டி ஃபார் ரிஃப்ரைனிங் ஃப்ரம் ஆக்ட்னா பெனல்டி வந்து பெட்ரோல் பம்ப்ஸ் வந்து ஆயில் கம்பெனிக்கு பே பண்ணா ஆயில் கம்பெனி அதுக்கு சார்ஜ் பண்ணும்.
அவங்க எப்படி எடுத்துட்டு போறாங்கன்னா, உனக்கு டேர்ன் ஓவர் குறைஞ்சது. இப்போ நீங்க இப்போ ஒரு உதாரணத்துக்கு எடுத்துக்கிட்டா, இப்போ நம்ம கும்பகோணத்துலேருந்து பாபநாசத்துக்கு முன்னாடி 3 பங்கு இருந்தது. இப்போ 7 பங்கு இருக்கு. 7ங்கிறதே கம்மியா இருக்கும். அவ்வளோ பங்கு வந்துருது. அந்த புது பங்கு போட்டதுனால எனக்கு சேல்ஸ் குறையுது, நீ புது பங்கு போடுற அப்படின்னு சொல்லிடுறதுனால இந்த பெட்ரோல் பம்புக்காரன் க்ளோஸ் பண்ணாம இருக்கிறதுக்காக டிஃபரன்ஷியல் டீலர் மார்ஜின் கொடுக்குறான் அப்படின்னு ஒரு ஸ்டாண்ட் எடுத்திருக்கான் ஏஐஆர். பட் இது வந்து எனி டைம் த ஜிஎஸ்டி ஆஃபீஸர்ஸ் இன் தமிழ்நாடு மே டேக் தி ஸ்டாண்ட் அண்ட் இஷ்யூ நோட்டீசஸ். பாரத் பெட்ரோலியம்ல வந்து என்ன அட்வைஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கான் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, நீங்க இதை கமிஷனா பர்ச்சேஸ்ல கழிச்சிருங்கோ, நீங்க தனியா காமிக்காதீங்க பிஎன்எல்ல. பட் அது வந்து ஒரு வியூவா புக் எடுத்து வச்சு பார்த்து நீங்க உங்களுக்கு இன்ஸ்பெக்ஷனுக்கு வராம வந்து பார்த்தான்னா நீங்க எங்க அக்கௌண்ட் பண்ணியிருந்தா என்ன?
அது ரைட். பட்
இமிடியேட்டா தெரியாது. வெறும் பிஎன்எல்ல வச்சுட்டா தெரியாது, பிஎன்எல்ல பார்க்கவே தெரியாது, அது வேற சமாச்சாரம். பிஎன்எல்ல மட்டும் பார்த்தா தெரியாதுங்கிறது வேற சமாச்சாரம். பட் இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ஸ்டாண்ட் வந்து டிஃபரன்ஷியல் டீலர் மார்ஜின் எங்க வச்சிருக்க அப்படின்னு கேட்கற அளவுக்கு தெரியும். ஏன்னா அதை தான் தேடிட்டு வரான். அப்ப அவன் அந்த கொஸ்டின் டிஃபரன்ஷியல் டீலர் மார்ஜின் உங்ககிட்ட அக்கௌண்டே பண்ணலையே ஏன் அப்படின்னு கேட்டா, இல்ல சார் நான் டிஸ்கவுண்டா கழிச்சேன்னு நீங்க சொன்னீங்கன்னா அதுவுமே தப்புன்னு சொல்லலாம். பட் நம்ம வந்து இந்த ஸ்டாண்டை நம்ம கிளியரா எனக்கு இந்த சார்ட்டை வந்து கொடுத்ததுக்கு ரீசனே வந்து சப்போர்ட்டிங்கா எல்லாருக்கும் பார்க்கணுங்கிறதுக்கு தான்.
ஓகே. அப்புறம் வந்து மெட்ராஸ் ஐடிஐடி ஹைதராபாத் அண்ட் அகமதாபாத் வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா 194A ஃபார் இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் ஆன் டிலேட் பேமெண்ட்ஸ் தேவையில்லைன்னு சொல்றது. அந்த ஸ்டாண்ட் நம்மளுக்கு ஃபேவரா யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கலாமா?
பண்ணிக்கலாம். பட் ஆயில் கம்பெனியில் கேட்டா கொடுத்துட்றான், திருப்பி ரீஇம்பர்ஸ்மெண்ட் பண்ணிடுறான். நம்ம ஏன் கம்ப்ளைண்ட்ஸ்ல ஏன் இந்த பிரச்சனை வச்சுக்கணும்? இப்போ முன்னாடி வந்து இது எஸ்எல்எஃப் ரெண்ட்டுக்கு வந்து டிடிஎஸ் வந்து நம்ம கிளைம் பண்ணணும். என்ன பண்ணனா நம்ம 16A ஃபைல் 26Q ஃபைல் பண்ணிட்டு 16A கொடுத்தோம்னா அவனுக்கு வந்ததை பார்த்துட்டு கிரெடிட் கொடுத்துருந்தான். இப்போ அவனே என்ன பண்ணிட்டான், பில்லுலேயே ப்ரொவிஷனல் கிரெடிட் கொடுத்துட்றான். 3 மாதம் முடிஞ்சு 4வது மாதத்துல வரலைன்னா அதை ரிவர்ஸ் பண்ணுறான். வந்துருச்சுன்னா அந்த ப்ரொவிஷனல் கிரெடிட் ரிவர்ஸ் பண்ணிட்டு ஆக்சுவல் கிரெடிட் கொடுத்துறான். ஒன்றும் ஒரே என்ட்ரி 2 ஒரு டெபிட் என்ட்ரி ஒரு கிரெடிட் என்ட்ரி. நம்ம கட்ட வேண்டிய பணத்தில் முன்னாடியே கழிச்சிட்டு தான் கட்டியிருக்கோம் நம்ம. ஸோ இப்போ வந்து அவங்கள பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் டிடிஎஸ் கம்ப்ளைண்ட்ஸ் பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் அவங்க வந்து தே ஆர் அக்செப்டிங் தட் திஸ் ஹஸ் பி டன். இப்போ பிரச்சனை என்னென்னா 194Qல இருக்க ஒரே பெரிய பிரச்சனை என்னென்னா the quantum of TDS is less, the quantum of disallowance is more. நீங்கள் ஒரு 10 கோடிக்கு நீங்கள் டேர்ன் ஓவர் பண்ணீங்கன்னா அதுக்கு நீ பண்ண வேண்டியது வந்து 1 லட்சம் ரூபா டிடிஎஸ். டிசலோவ் பண்ணால் 3 கோடி ரூபா டிசலவன்ஸு, அதுக்கு 30% டேக்ஸ் போட்டேன்னா 1 கோடி ரூபா.
பட் டிசலவன்ஸ் வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா 40IA படி செக்ஷன் 36க்கு அப்புறம் தானே ஆரம்பிக்கிறது. இந்த பர்ச்சேஸ் வந்து 28லேயே வந்துடுறது. அப்போ அது அப்ளிகபிள் ஆகுது? இல்லை
அப்படி இல்லை. எனி ஐட்டம் அந்த சாப்டர் கீழே தானே சொல்கிறான்.
ஸோ அந்த யூ ஆர் ரெஃபரிங் டு 194Q.
ஆமாம். அதாவது ஒரு நிமிஷம்.
சாப்டர் 17.
சாப்டர் 17 இல்லை, நீங்கள் 40A 1Aல என்ன சொல்கிறான், முன்னாடி தனித்தனியாக சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தான். இப்போ என்ன சொல்கிறான்னா 30% of any sum payable to a resident on which tax is deductible at source under chapter 17B.
ஓகே.
ஸோ நீங்கள் வந்து 36 பர்ச்சேஸு அந்த முன்னாடி 48 பண்ணிட்டு தான் அந்த கண்டிஷன்ஸ்லாம் இப்போ ஒத்து வராது.
ஓகே.
ஏன்னா அவன் வந்து எக்ஸ்பெண்டிச்சர்னு ஹெட்டுக்கே போகல. ஃபஸ்ட்டு முன்னாடி சேலரி கிடையாது, சேலரி இல்லாமல் இருந்தது, இது இல்லாமல் இருந்தது. ஒரு ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்காக 4-5 ஐட்டம் ஆஃப் எக்ஸ்பெண்டிச்சர் சொன்னால் அப்புறம் கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமாக இன்க்ரீஸ் பண்ணான். இப்போ அதெல்லாம் விட்டுட்டான். எதுக்கெல்லாம் நான் டிடிஎஸ் பிடிக்கணும்னு சொல்கிறேனோ அதுக்கெல்லாம் நீ பிடிக்கணும், பிடிக்கலன்னா பண்ணியே வில் அப்ளை.
ஓகே. ஃபிஃபோ வந்து மேண்டேட்டரியா?
ஃபிஃபோ இப்போ வந்து இல்லை, அதாவது இப்போ வந்து லிஃபோ இஸ் நாட் அக்செப்டட். ஃபிஃபோ ஆர் வெயிட்டட் ஆவரேஜ் காஸ்ட்டு. இப்போ நீங்கள் மே 2022க்கு அப்புறம் நமக்கு வந்து ஆவரேஜ் காஸ்ட்டில் ஒன்றும் பெரிய இஷ்யூ இல்லை. அதுக்கு முன்னாடி டெய்லி சேஞ்ச் ஆகிட்டு இருந்தது. அப்போ ரேட் வந்து ரைஸ் ஆயிடுச்சுன்னா வேல்யூ உங்களுக்கு ஆவரேஜ் காஸ்ட்டில் ரேட்டும் வில் வேரி. அண்ட் திஸ் இஸ் நாட் அ கமாடிட்டி விச் கேன் பி ஸ்டோர்டு செப்பரேட்லி. மிஞ்சி போனால் இப்போ போன டியூவில் இருக்கிற 3000 3 கேஎல் இருக்குன்னா 3 கேஎல்ல எத்தனை பம்பு இதுன்னு நம்ம பார்க்க முடியாது. ஏன்னா 3 கேஎல்னா மிஞ்சி போனால் ஒரு 5 இன்வாய்ஸ்க்கு முன்னாடி இருக்கிறது தான் இருக்கும். அதில் 100 ml இருக்கும், 200 2 லிட்டர் இருக்கும், அவ்வளோதான் இருக்கும். அதனால இப்போ ஃபிஃபோவில் தான் போகிறது தான் பெஸ்ட்டு அண்ட் கரெக்ட்.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
ஓகே, எனி அதர் கொஸ்டின்ஸ்?
மணி சார், ஐ ஹேவ் 2 கொஸ்டின் சார்.
சொல்லுங்க சார்.
சார், இப்ப நீங்க உங்க பிரசன்டேஷன் என்ன சொன்னீங்க? லாஸ்ட் செக் தி கிராஸ் ப்ராஃபிட்டை செக் பண்ண சொல்றீங்க. கம்பேர் வித் லாஸ்ட் இயர் அண்ட் கரண்ட் இயர் அப்படின்னு.
லாஸ்ட் இயர் அண்ட் கரண்ட் இயர்ல சார், கிராஸ் ப்ராஃபிட்டை எப்படி நம்ம செக் பண்ணலாங்கிறதுக்கு ஒரு மெக்கானிசம் சொல்றேன்.
ஓகே. இல்ல இப்ப இங்க பாத்தீங்க அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, எவரி பெட்ரோல் பங்க் they have to mandatorily maintain the every book. The stock register they have to maintain.
எஸ் சார்.
சரிங்களா? அதுல வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா எவ்ரிதிங் வெதர் போத் குவான்டிட்டி வைஸ் பர்ச்சேஸ் இருக்கும், சேல்ஸ் இருக்கும், அண்ட் ஆல்சோ how much is the closing stock, பிசிக்கலா என்ன இருக்குது அப்படிங்கிறது வருது. சோ எவ்ரிதிங் இஸ் அண்டர் கண்ட்ரோல் அப்படிங்கும் பொழுது
சார், அதாவது அதுதான் நான் சொல்றேன். ஒரு நிமிஷம், நான் உங்களுக்கு அந்த இடத்துலயும் சொன்னேன், திருப்பி சொல்றேன். நான் வந்து ஒரு பேங்க் ஆடிட் போயிருந்தபோது ஒரு பெட்ரோல் பம்புக்கு போயிருந்தேன் இன்ஸ்பெக்ஷனுக்கு, செக்யூரிட்டி இன்ஸ்பெக்ஷனுக்கு. அங்கே பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அவங்களுடைய ஃபினான்ஷியல் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்ஸில் 6,30,000 ரூபா க்ளோசிங் ஸ்டாக் வேல்யூ. வேற டிஎஸ்ஆர் படி 12,45,000 ரூபா வருது.
ஓகே.
அதெல்லாம் செக் பண்ணுறோமா பண்ணலையாங்கிறது தான் பண்ணுங்கன்னு சொல்கிறேன் நான்.
ஓகே.
நான் வந்து பண்ணுறவங்களை பற்றி பிரச்சனை இல்லை, பண்ணாதவங்க பண்ணுங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறோம்.
ஓகே.
அது வந்து க்ளோசிங் ஸ்டாக்கோட குவான்டிட்டி வந்ததுன்னா வேல்யூவேஷன் ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக சரியா போயிட போகுது. ரெண்டாவது, அந்த வேல்யூவேஷன் சரியாங்கிறதுக்கான நமக்கு ஒரு கிராஸ் செக்கிங் எப்படின்னா, இப்போ 4 ரூபா per லிட்டர் பெட்ரோல் அப்படின்னா ஒரு இத்தனை லிட்டர் விற்றுருக்கோம்னா இன்ட்டு 4 ரூபா பெருக்கி வச்சுக்கோங்க. அதாவது ஒரு ஏ ஃபிகர் வச்சுக்கோங்க.
ஓகே.
2.58 ரூபா பைசா per லிட்டர் ஆஃப் டீசல், அது எத்தனை சேல்ஸோ அதோட பெருக்கி வச்சுக்கோங்க. இது ரெண்டையும் கூட்டின்ட்டு ஆயிலுக்கு ஒரு 15% அப்ராக்சிமேட்டாக போடுங்க. ஏன்னா ஆயில் அவங்க யாருமே ஒழுங்காக அது ரேட்டு என்ன ரேட்டுக்கு விற்கிறாங்கன்னு யாருக்கும் தெரியாது.
ஓகே.
ஒரு 10லேருந்து 20%க்குள்ளே இருக்கும், ஒரு 15% வச்சுக்கோங்க. இது மூணையும் கூட்டினா இதுதான் உங்களுக்கு கிராஸ் ப்ராஃபிட் வரணும்.
ஓகே.
எவாபரேஷன் லாஸ்ட் நீங்கள் எவ்வளோ நீங்கள் கிளைம் பண்ணுறீங்களோ அதை அந்த பர்ச்சேஸ் க்ளோசிங் ஸ்டாக் வேல்யூவால் போய்ட்டு கழிச்சிங்கன்னா இஃப் த கிராஸ் ப்ராஃபிட் அரைவ்ட் அட் பை திஸ் மெத்தட் அண்ட் த கிராஸ் ப்ராஃபிட் ஆஸ் பர் அக்கௌண்ட்ஸ் மேட்ச் அட்லீஸ்ட் டு த டியூன் ஆஃப் 98-99%, தென் யூ ஆர் கரெக்ட்.
ஓகே.
இல்லை, இது ஒரு நமக்கு ஒரு கிராஸ் வெரிஃபிகேஷன் தான், கணக்கு சரியா இருக்கா அப்படிங்கிறதுக்கு.
ஓகே சார். The second issue, sir. So normally petrol, diesel, it is out of the purview of GST.
ஆமா சார்.
Whereas பாத்தீங்க அப்படின்னு சொன்னா regarding that lubricants வந்து comes under GST.
ஆமா சார்.
இப்போ lubricantக்கு they are offering some discount.
ஆமா.
So what is the GST impact?
டிஸ்கவுண்ட் வந்து அவங்க கிரெடிட் நோட் கொடுக்கணும் சார். கிரெடிட் நோட்டில் வந்து ஜிஎஸ்டி இருந்ததுன்னா நீங்கள் ரிவர்ஸ் பண்ணி தான் ஆகணும். பில்லுலேயே கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா பில்லில் கொடுக்கும்போது டிஸ்கவுண்ட் ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக கழிஞ்சு தான் உங்களுக்கு ஜிஎஸ்டியை கலெக்டே பண்ணுவாங்க. ஹலோ கணேஷ்.
எஸ் சார். ஓகே சார், ஐ அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் சார்.
சித்தர் சார், ஏதாவது கேள்வி இருக்கா
சார்? எனி அதர் கொஸ்டின்?
எனி அதர் கொஸ்டின்? நான் ஐ எம் ரெடி டு ஆன்சர். இன்னும் உங்களுக்கு வந்து 6 நிமிஷம் இருக்கு அடுத்த ஸ்பீக்கருக்கு. முடிச்சுக்கலாம்னா நான் முடிச்சிடுறேன்
சார். சப்போஸ் அவங்க பெட்ரோல் பங்க் டிஸ்கவுண்ட் கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா
யாருக்கு சார்? எதுக்கு சார் டிஸ்கவுண்ட்? எதுக்கு? ஹலோ
ஹலோ
சார்,
தர்மலிங்கம் சார் ஃப்ரம் கரூர். சில பெட்ரோல் பங்க் வந்து டீசலுக்கு 50 பைசா குறைச்சு அல்லது
சார் அது பரவாயில்ல, அது கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா இப்போ ஆக்சுவலி இருக்கு. அது நான் சாரி நான் அதை சொல்ல மறந்துட்டேன். இப்போ சேலம் கரூர் பக்கம்லாம் நிறையா இருக்குது, அந்த வியூ இருக்குது. ஒரு லிட்டருக்கு ஒரு லிட்டருக்கு 1 ரூபா குறைக்கிறாங்கன்னா உங்கள் கிளைண்ட் அதை பண்ணுறாங்கிறத வச்சுட்டு அந்த 1 ரூபாயை நீங்கள் பெட்ரோலுக்கு கழிச்சுங்க. 4 ரூபா ப்ராஃபிட்டுக்கு பதிலாக 3 ரூபான்னு வச்சு போடுங்க.
ஓகே. பில் போடுறத நம்ம குறைச்சு போட்டா நோ இஷ்யூ இல்லைங்களா?
இல்ல. அதான் அவங்க வந்து அந்த ரேட்டுக்கு தான் விக்கிறாங்கங்கிறதுக்கான ப்ரூஃப் உங்களுக்கு இருக்கும் இல்லையா?
ஆமாமா.
ஏன்னா
பில்லிங்கே
போர்டே
குறைச்சு தரோம்.
இல்ல போர்டே போடுறாங்க.
ம்.
பெட்ரோல் ₹1 கம்மி அப்படின்னே
ம்.
போடுறாங்க.
ஓகே, ஓகே.
இப்ப நீங்க இப்ப ₹4 அப்படிங்கிற பெட்ரோல் ப்ராஃபிட்ட ₹3ன்னு மாத்திக்கிங்க.
ஓகே, ஓகேங்க சார். ஓகே.
அதாவது நான் எதுக்கு சொல்றேன்னா, இப்ப நீங்க இந்த இஷ்யூ நீங்க கொண்டு வராத வரைக்கும் நம்ம ஏன் இத நம்ம பார்க்கணும் அப்படின்னு இருந்தது.
ஆமா.
இப்ப நம்ம ₹3,00,000 ₹3 ₹1 குறைந்ததுன்னா ஒரு பெட்ரோலுக்கு 1 லிட்டருக்கு குறைஞ்சதுன்னா,
ஓகே.
கிட்டத்தட்ட உங்களுக்கு வந்து 400 500 கேஎல்க்குன்னு வச்சுக்கிட்டீங்கன்னா, எங்க போய் நிக்கும்?
பெரிய அமௌண்ட் குறைஞ்சிரும்.
பெரிய
அதான்.
அமௌண்ட் குறைஞ்சு. அப்ப ஜிபி குறையுதுன்னா, எதுக்கு நம்மன்னா, இப்ப என் கிளையண்ட் ஒரு ₹1 குறைச்சு குடுக்குறாரு சார். அப்படின்னு
ஆமா.
சொல்லிட்டு நம்ம கிராஸ் வெரிஃபை பண்ணி, அவங்க சொல்ற ₹1 சரியா இருக்கா? அப்படின்னு செக் பண்றதுக்கும் நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ணலாம் அத.
ஓகேங்க சார். ஓகே. தேங்க் யூ.
தேங்க்ஸ் சார்.
Sir, I have one question, sir.
சொல்லுங்க சார்.
Sir, இந்த சிம் கார்டை பத்தி சொன்னீங்கல்ல சிம் கார்டு
சிம் கார்டா?
இருக்கு இல்லையா?
ஆ,
இந்த ஏர்டெல் டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூட்டர் இது மாதிரி டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூட்டர் இருக்காங்க.
ஆமா.
On behalf of the Airtel or some operators, they are paying the GST.
ஆ.
பட் வந்து 26 ஏஎஸ்ல வந்து கமிஷன் ரிசீவ் ஆகுது, கமிஷன் தான் காமிக்கிறது. ஸோ அதை பேஸ் பண்ணி கமிஷன் பேஸ்ல ரிட்டர்ன் ஃபைல் பண்றது பெட்டரா, இல்லை டேர்ன் ஓவர் டிக்ளேர் பண்றது பெஸ்ட்டா?
சார் அதாவது
ம்,
சர்வீஸ் டாக்ஸ்ல வந்து எம்ஆர்பி பேஸ்டு டாக்ஸ் இருந்தது சார்.
ஓகே.
அதுல வந்து கடை வசூல் பண்றது கஷ்டமா இருக்கும் போட்டி கடைக்காரங்கிட்டங்கிறதுக்காக மொத்த டாக்ஸையும்
ம்,
மேனுஃபேக்சரரே பெட்ரோல் இது ஃபோன் கம்பெனியே கட்டிட்டான்.
ஓகே.
நமக்கு வந்து என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா,
ம்,
அந்த டாக்ஸ் எல்லாம் கழிச்சிட்டு டிஃபரன்ஸ் தான் உங்களுக்கு ₹25 ரீசார்ஜ்னா ₹18 தான் பேசணுங்கிறது அந்த கமிஷன்லாம் கழிச்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் தான்.
ம், ம், ம்.
அது வந்து சர்வீஸ் டாக்ஸ்ல இருந்த மாதிரி இப்ப எம்ஆர்பி பேஸ்டு ஜிஎஸ்டி டாக்ஸேஷன் கிடையாது சார்.
ம், ம், ம். ஓகே.
நீங்க ஜிஎஸ்டி கட்ட தான் வேணும். ஜிஎஸ்டி சர்வீஸ்க்கு டாக்ஸ் கட்டி தான் ஆகணும்.
ஆமா, ஆமா.
உங்களுடைய கமிஷனுக்கு வரைக்கும் நீங்க காமிச்சிட்டு கமிஷனுக்கான ஜிஎஸ்டி கட்டினா கூட போதும். பட்
Okay.
அதுக்கேத்த மாதிரி உங்களுக்கு வரக்கூடிய இன்வாய்ஸ் அப்படி இருக்கணும். ஏன்னா நான் எனக்கு
ம்.
இமிடியேட்டா சொல்லறதுக்கு எனக்கு இது இல்ல. பட் நான் பார்த்துட்டு வேணா சொல்றேன் உங்களுக்கு.
ஓகே சார், தேங்க்யூ.
எனி அதர் கொஸ்டின் சார்?
Ganesh sir.
Okay, sir. Sir, we will wind up, sir.
ஓகே சார்.
Speaker.
தேங்க் யூ வெரி மச்.
Thank you.
தேங்க்யூ.
Vijay?
Sir, yes. Sir Natarajan sir, it was a very great presentation and it was very useful, I think so, for all the members who have attended this seminar. And there are new issues also like Kerala AR, and these were new things to us with regard to petrol bunk business. Any queries from the members can be shared to kumbakonam@ici.org. Definitely it will be attended. Since we have since the next session speaker has joined, we are closing here. Thank you once again, Natarajan sir. Hope you
Thank
can
you.
also stay back for the next session.
தேங்க்ஸ் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ்.
தேங்க்யூ சார்.
Thank you. Sendil?
விஜய், நீங்க ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுங்க. நீங்க
இல்ல செந்தில் அவர் co-host பண்ணிட்டாரா?
அவர் பண்ணட்டும். நீங்க சொல்லல, நீங்க பண்ணி இன்ட்ரோடக்ஷன் பண்ணும்போது சொல்லிக்கலாம். நீங்க பண்ணுங்க.
Okay. Good evening once again to everyone. We have got first session completed by today, and the next will be taken over by CA Bimal Jain, and it is on Beyond 3B. Just I will go with his profile. CA Bimal Jain is a FCA and FCS LLB with 24 years of experience in indirect taxation, GST, VAT, service tax, and he was the president for CA CS CMA Council in the Chamber of Trade and Industry, New Delhi. He is also an author of a book on goods and service taxes titled GST Law and Commentary with Analysis and Procedures, 8 Procedures. And he is a member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India since 1994 and a member of Institute of Company Secretaries of India since December 2006. along with a bachelor's degree in law. He is having more than 24 years of experiences in indirect taxation and specializes in all aspects of goods and service tax, value-added tax, central excise, customs, foreign trade policy, special economic zone, export-oriented unit, export-import laws, and he is a founder of A to Z Tax Corp LLP, a boutique indirect tax firm. It is really an honor to have you, sir. And on behalf of Kumbhakonam branch, Puducherry branch, and Tiruchirappalli branch, we welcome you once again, and the session is yours.
The outset, let me thank all distinguished members from all three branches, Kumbakonam, Tiruchirappalli, and Puducherry branch. And a special thanks to CA Ganeshji for changing me hard for today's webinar. So, topic here selected, beyond GSTR 3B, practical issues, burning issues, way forward. After 3B, what is the way forward? And then he wanted me to deliberate how to handle expired goods in GST with the concept of credit note and debit note, and even incentive, which is being given by the supplier to the buyer, how the system should be and how it need to be recorded and compliance to be done in GST law. Before I start, I would like to put a request to all the members that you should be interacting with me. There's no PowerPoint presentation, but I want each one of you should listen to me and may take down, and through this chat box, which is there on your right-hand side, you can at least say yes or no, be interactive. And I'm telling you and promising you that you will enjoy today's webinar with no PowerPoint presentation. You would be learning the new way how to understand GST. That is a complicated issue for all of us together, but I will try to simplify in a very lucid manner. So before I start, can I request each one of you to say yes to start? So you have to write yes in a chat box so that
Yes,
I
sir.
will understand that you all are getting me. Okay. So audio is all right, video is all right. Yes, so a lot of yes has come. It means now chat box is working. So that's great. Thank you very much. Let me start with now. Just a minute. Yeah. Let me start today's first topic, beyond GSTR 3B. And I will discuss in two components. I will discuss July 17, 2017, GST got introduced. What are the challenges, practical issues? And second, I'm going to discuss, do we have any simplification way forward? So we will discuss both the component. Before I start, let me give you the background in GST. If you are a registered person, you are filing outward supply statement GSTR 1A, 1, and then 1A for any kind of insertion or amendment. So GSTR 1 and 1A for your outward supply. And then you're cross-checking your credit through GSTR 2A or 2B, and then you're filing your GSTR 3B. This is what the process we are following. And there's a concept called annual return GSTR 9 and self-certified reconciliation statement GSTR 9C that we are filing as on date today. But what is exactly the practical problem which we all are facing? Let me start with one practical example and then I will post a query to all of you. Let's say I'm your supplier. I'm your supplier and you all are my buyer, recipient. So supplier registered in Delhi, you all are registered in Tamil Nadu. So you're my buyer, recipient. I have supplied the goods. I have raised the tax invoice. Everything was correct. But while filing GSTR1, I have made mistake. Instead of mentioning your GST number, I have mentioned the GST of some other party. My first question goes to all of you. In such case, Bimal Jain, being supplier, has filed one. He has wrongly furnished the GST number. Instead of you, he has furnished the GST number of some other party. And he has paid the taxes also through GSTR 3B. So Bimal Jain has filed 3B and paid the taxes. My question goes to all of you. Whether credit is going to be auto-populated for you in GSTR 2A, say yes or no. In such case, whether credit is going to be auto-populated in your GSTR 2A. So I have got answer from a few of the members. Of course, now I'm getting no. Is it going to be auto-populated in GSTR 2B? 2B. So GSTR 2A is something different and 2B is something different. We all know about it. See, being buyer, what you need to satisfy? You need to satisfy initially 4 conditions. First, you should have a tax invoice, which you are having. Second, you must have received goods or services, which you have received. Third, your supplier must have paid taxes. He has paid the taxes to 3B. And fourth, being recipient, you are regularly filing your 3B, which you are filing. Now, please tell me if it is not getting auto-populated in GSTR 2A for the fault of supplier, whether your credit can be denied because there is no condition that it should match with GSTR 2A. There is no condition. Of course, 2B got introduced from 1st January 2022. So you need to match your credit with GSTR 2B only prospectively from 1st January 2022. So prior to that, there was no provision that you need to cross-check that credit is auto-populated in GSTR 2A or not. And there is subtle jurisprudence. Supreme Court judgment, Bharti Airtel, that 2A is only facilitation. It's not a condition to avail credit. But the question comes, why department is issuing so many so-called notices? And we have seen the litigation. And being recipient, you are not at fault. There's no fault on your part. It's the fault of Bimal Jain. Now, Bimal Jain could have corrected, amended his GSTR1 by defined time period as prescribed under section 37. So what is the time period prescribed? It was 30th September of next financial year. And this provision got changed from 1st October 2022. It is 30th November. So any financial year, maximum time period for correction or amendment by supplier can be done by 30th November of succeeding financial year. If that date is passed away, my question to you, if that date is gone, can Bimal Jain, supplier, amend his GSTR1 beyond the due date? Please tell me yes or no in your chat box. Can I do that? Is it possible? I can't do. I can't do. So what happened? Your credit? It's a fault of Bimal Jain. There is someone, Mr. Bijay, who introduced me today. He's saying credit lapsed. Credit lapsed. That is the point I'm discussing, practical issue. And then we will discuss the way forward also. So try to understand beyond due date, Bimal Jain being supplier will not be able to amend his GSTR1, and in no way your credit is going to be auto-populated in 2A. So what to be done? And in this case, look at the irony. Look at the irony, and you all will agree with me. There was manual or clerical error, inadvertent error by Bimal Jain while filing his GSTR1. It was not intentional. Tax invoice is correctly having GST number of yours. But while filing one, inadvertently, clerical mistake. So Bimal Jain filing one with the inadvertent mistake, but paying the taxes through GSTR 3B. So government has got the revenue. There's no loss to the government exchequer. Now department coming and saying you will not get the credit on same transaction. Is it not double payment? Government has already collected from the supplier. Now they're denying credit. Is it not a double payment? Say yes and no. And why credit going to be lapsed? And that is what we are discussing today. Why credit would be lapsed? It's a double payment. And let me tell you, Bombay High Court has given judgment for which SLP was filed by Department Revenue in the Supreme Court. And that SLP got dismissed. And what is the crux of that Bombay High Court judgment is? That is worth noticing. And you may quote, and that is the judgment you may rely for all such dispute. Judgment was, if there is clerical error or mathematical error or inadvertent error, then the registered person should be allowed to rectify his return even beyond due date specified, when there is no loss to the government exchequer. See, supplier has already paid the taxes. There was no loss to the government exchequer. They are creating condition within the provision and on so-called GSTN portal. They are saying you can't revise, you can't amend your GSTR1 beyond the specified time period. Abradare Technologies, that is the judgment which I'm quoting, and Star Engineering. Honorable Supreme Court has dismissed the SLP filed by the Revenue against the Bombay High Court judgment. And even Karnataka High Court, in the case of Bipro India Limited, they have said that the GSTR1 can be amended even beyond the due date when there is no loss to the government exchequer. It is, prejudicial. You have collected the tax. Now you're denying the credit, double payment. And that Bombay High Court judgment has even said, if you are not allowing such correction, then it is going to violating Article 19(1)(g), right to do business. Right to do business, which is my fundamental right. So, Honorable Supreme Court has dismissed the Revenue SLP against the Bombay High Court judgment. Now, what department argued? Department in the Bombay High Court case. Department argued, Lordship, this time period is being specified for the region. We, central government and state government, do revenue sharing once the time period is over. If it is kept open, then there would be problem between central and state for the revenue sharing. What Bombay High Court has said, just because your internal revenue sharing, can you really stop? This inadvertent mathematical error can happen to you as well, and you're stopping them, and you're getting double payment. Is it violating right to do business? Not permissible. Second argument taken by the department, Lordship, we have got GSTN portal. We have configured like that. Bombay High Court has said any software should not be a constraint and restriction for doing the business. You need to provide facilitation. You need to provide ease of business. And that is what now settled jurisprudence. So for all the past period, this is the judgment which is going to help you. Please take a note of it. The first one. Second one. Let's assume you are filing your 3B. Let's assume there was certain credit available in your GSTR 2A. Let's assume second point. There's some credit available to you. Let's say 10 lakh rupees in 2A. You missed availing the credit in 3B. Missed. Now, while filing 9 and 9C for the relevant financial year, you notice that you have missed availing credit in 3B. So what you did, you have taken that credit while filing your 9 and 9C annual return. My question goes to all of you. Somebody has said credit lapsed. Please tell me, in this situation, you missed showing the credit in 3B, inadvertent, mistake, clerical, unintentional, but while filing 9 and 9C for the relevant financial year, you're showing that credit amount. Whether that credit is going to be available to you, say yes or no. Please tell me, say yes or no. I just want yes or no. I do not want much. I'm just looking for, you tell me your answer, yes or no. Okay, lot of yes and lot of no. Please be fair, whatever coming to your mind. Rest I'm going to discuss with all of you. Rest assured. Okay, some Mohan Raj is saying yes if filed within due date. Lokmani Balaji Rani is saying no. Listen to me now. Now carefully listen to me. I'm giving you 3 judgments back to back. 2 judgments from Madras High Court. So Tamil Nadu, relevant one. Kevin HP Gas and Sanmuga Hardware Electricals. Similar facts. Credit could not be availed in 3B but shown in 9 and 9C. And recently in Calcutta High Court, this matter has gone. And in that Calcutta High Court judgment, which is Pioneer Parking Limited, what is being decided? Listen very carefully. The first, sir, we have made mistake while filing 3B. But sir, there is no provision in the GST law that I can revise my GSTR 3B. Do you all agree? There's no provision you can revise. So there's no provision. Due date gone, but we have filed while filing 9 and 9C. Are you recalling 17-18? My date of filing annual return was either 5th or 7th February 2020, depending on the state. So in Tamil Nadu, I do not know what is the date, but it is 5th or 7th February 2020. So when I was finalizing my 9 and 9C, I have included that credit in my 9 and 9C. Similar fact was argued before Calcutta High Court also. Point is, if annual return which is being prescribed, it has got some sensitivity, right? It is compilation. Why annual return? I'm compiling all my outward supply, my purchase, my credit. And that is the last opportunity for us, right? To pick up anything. So when I realized I made the mistake in 3B, which I could not revise, showing in 9 and 9C, why credit will not be available? Argument taken by the petitioner, Lordship, if this annual return is not having any sensitivity, then what is the relevance of 9 and 9C? Are you not making this 9 and 9C OTOs useless? If it is of no relevance, why it is there in the GST law? Section 44, subsection 1, read with Rule 80. Lordship, this annual return is a compilation of my whole year data. If I miss something, you're demanding the tax. You want me to pay the tax for that relevant financial year, but you're not giving me credit. Credit was available. I was having all the conditions satisfied. I missed showing in 3B, and 3B I can't revise. Second argument was taken. Second argument. Who said that credit should be taken through GSTR 3B? And let me tell you, this is the argument which was discussed before Madras High Court in both the cases, Kevin HP Gas and Sanmuga Hardware Electricals. The point which was discussed before Honorable Bench was, Lordship, when GST got introduced in the beginning, they have defined supplier will file GSTR 1, which gets auto-populated in 2A of the recipient, and recipient will file GSTR 2 for the credit, GSTR 2 for the credit. And if he is doing any add, modify, delete, that gets auto-populated again in GSTR 1A for the supplier, which he needs to accept or reject, and GSTR 3 need to be filed. This was the system which was envisaged under section 37, 38, 39, 42, 43. Lordship, they never introduced GSTR 2, which was stated to be credit statement. 3B was introduced as a stopgap management, stopgap measure. So GSTR 2 was existing, coexisting with 3B, Lordship, until 1st October 2022. Only from 1st October 2022, they have omitted GSTR 2, meaning thereby prior to 1st October 2022, there was GSTR 2, there was GSTR 3B. So why department will always say that you should avail credit through 3B? Why not it is with GSTR 2, which was coexisting? And you have omitted only prospectively from 1st October 2022. Hence, it can't be argued that credit should be taken only GSTR 3B. I hope I'm clear to all my participants. Can I see yes in a chat box that
Yes, sir.
you all got it? Can you say yes in a chat box that you all are clear? Super clear. So Kusal Raj is saying super clear. Thank you very much. So I'm thankful to each one of you. And that is what the crux of the judgment. And they have said, if you have shown in 9 and 9C, then you will get the credit. Then recently you must be recalling section 16, subsection 4, time limit condition. And they have introduced special amnesty, 16, subsection 5, for initial 4 financial year, 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, and 2021. If credit availed through 3B and by 30th November 21, right? You will get the benefit. Why not with 9 and 9C? And to my mind, this 9 and 9C also can be used for your advantage. You have to only look at your factual position, and then you can take it forward. Hope this part is clear to you. This was the second point which I wanted to discuss. Come back to the third portion. I'm discussing these written part, the practical issues. The case, what happened? Factual. You are a person, you are having 2 registration. Let's say one registration in Delhi, one registration in Maharashtra, Bombay. So you are having 2 registration. I'm your supplier. So you have given me both the registration number. So instead of putting Delhi registration number of yours, I put your Bombay, Maharashtra registration number while filing GSTR 1. So quite obvious, when you look at 2A of Delhi registration, this credit is ineligible and there's no fault of yours. This matter has gone before Delhi High Court. And what Delhi High Court has said, if supplier has made mistake, otherwise this credit is available to him, and this credit is not availed in Maharashtra registration, it is meant for Delhi only. Why this credit can't be transferred, and why you're blocking this credit? You have to only ensure there is no fraudulent claim, but operationally, which is permissible and can be done, why you're not opening up? And it was directed that you should get it manually revised, and this credit must go to the Delhi registration where it belongs to. So I'm telling you, there are a lot of things which is happening in the past. But what would be the way forward? Will we continue like this? Or there is some transformation which is going to happen? So anyone is having any idea that what is the way forward? Of course, in chat box, you can write in brief. Do you have any idea what is the way forward now? Or we continue with this kind of litigation? Any idea? Just write down something in the chat box. I just want to understand whether my audience is getting those pointers or not. Please write down. Feel free. I said interactive one. So I'm trying my best. So there's one CA Ganesh who is okay. Invoice management system he has written. Vijay is saying, yes, litigation will be more. Anyone else having some idea? Okay. So now you're not trying, right? You must try. See, GST is such an interesting topic. You must think where we are heading for. Okay, let me start. Option to transfer the ITC internally within same PAN number. This is the different perspective, Kushalji. Listen now, listen now. You must have heard of Invoice Management System, IMS, right? You must have heard of. Optionally introduced from October 2024, optionally made applicable from October 2024. Before I start, why it is way forward? Before I start, let me ask each one of you. You are practicing chartered accountant. You are doing a lot of client return filing work. I'm sure you'd be thinking this is another headache, another compliances on your head. Am I right in saying so? Say yes or no. On a lighter note, I posted this one. So do you feel another compliances is adding back to your responsibility? Say yes or no. Yes or no. That's all. Nothing else. So a lot of, please, I request all the participants to write something, whatever coming to their mind. Okay. So there are yes also, there are no also, but yes is high. Yes is more. More challenge, more fields to work, Sri Priya is saying. Listen. Let me tell you, way forward, IMS is good for all of us together. Good for all of us together. And we are going to have invoice label matching, which was supposed to be from day 1, July 1, 2017, but never got introduced. This is now getting introduced. You should get yourself familiar about it, because this is at invoice label matching going to happen at invoice label. What is this IMS? Let me tell you in brief. I'm your supplier. You all are my buyer, recipient. When I'm filing GSTR1, then all the invoices which I'm raising would be available to you on IMS window, which you can see. Now, being recipient, after filing my one, you have to take action. There are 4 actions defined: accept, reject, pending, and no action. Let's say I've raised the invoice which belong to you, correctly furnished, shown in my one. It is visible. You can see on IMS platform. It is the invoice coming. You need to accept it. By accepting this invoice, there would be 2 actions. first section, my one liability will get auto-populated. Suppliers one liability will get auto-populated in 3B. And this acceptance will take this credit to your 2B. Because you're recipient. Credit auto-populated in 2B. Now, by due date, when we are filing 3B, supplier has to make payment. So 1 versus 3B liability gets matched. And you are getting surety that invoice, which is getting auto-populated on 2B, is being paid by the supplier. So there is no dispute in future whether your supplier has paid the liability or not. Getting matched, completely matched. Today, what challenge we are facing today? That whether my supplier has paid the taxes or not, there was no mechanism available. Let me start with, I was arguing one case before Commissioner Appeal at Udaipur. And case was of section 16, subsection 2, clause C. Buyer, recipient has paid the amount to the supplier and supplier has not deposited the tax. For the said region, credit was denied for the recipient, for the buyer. So I was arguing this case before Commissioner Appeal. And let me tell you, I have picked up my argument of IMS also. So what I argued, I'm telling you. I argued 4 important pointers, and this might help you. The first point which I argued before Commissioner Appeal, I said, Madam, Commissioner Appeal happened to be Madam. I said, Madam, being buyer, being recipient, I'm bona fide. I paid the amount to supplier. If supplier did not deposit, you go and catch hold of supplier's neck. Why you are troubling me? Why you are penalizing me? I'm not at fault. And that is what the genuine, right? Genuine. I argued the first point. I said to Madam, you know, being recipient, I was not having any window to cross-check whether my supplier after tax is depositing the tax or not until GSTR 2A came into the picture. And GSTR 2A came sometime beginning of January 2019. Do you all agree that there was no window available prior to that? Do you all agree? Say yes. This is the first point which I argued. Say yes. That yes, this is the good point. First. Second, even after 2A has come into the picture, Madam, we can't say with a conformity that invoice on which I'm availing credit, supplier has paid the taxes. There's no way it can be confirmed. Do you all agree on this point? Second pointer, even after 2A has come, you can't say with a conformity. Am I clear to all? Say yes, at least you got it. All right. So you're all getting it. Perfect. Third argument. I said to Madam, there's one specific provision, 41 subsection 2. You are demanding reversal of credit from the buyer, from the recipient. But do you have any provision under which you're demanding reversal? Of course, this is one of the conditions. But do you have any power to demand reversal from the recipient? I'm telling you, section 41 subsection 2 got notified prospectively from 1st October 2022. And this provision is giving power to the GST department that they can demand reversal from the recipient. And it was prospective introduction. So I argued before Madam. I said, Madam, when some provision which is prospectively introduced, giving power to the department to demand reversal from the buyer, first time prospectively, then how come for the past period you are demanding reversal from me? If reversal provision was existing, then why they have introduced prospectively? Hope you all got it. You say yes, that you got it. Say yes. And the last point which I argued, IMS. I asked, Madam, have you heard of IMS? We have introduced very first time invoice label matching. Supplier filing one invoice would be viewed by the recipient, by the buyer, and he will click accept. On acceptance, suppliers. There's someone who is talking in the background. Okay. Still. Someone still talking. Can you mute yourself, please?
Request Senthil Kumar sir, your mic is. Please unmute. Sir, mute it.
All right.
செந்தில் குமார் சார், உங்க இதை கொஞ்சம் மியூட் பண்ணுங்க சார்.
Okay, shall I start?
Yes sir, you start.
Okay. I said, Madam, first time ever you have introduced IMS. And through IMS, invoice level matching would be done, which is made optional from October 24. Now, supplier filing one invoice will be viewed by the buyer, and then buyer can accept. On acceptance, am I audible to all?
Yes sir, yes sir.
Audible to all?
Yes sir.
Yes,
sir.
yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So again, I'm repeating for the sake of repetition. I said, Madam, invoice label matching you have introduced first time. The suppliers filing one, his invoice can be viewed by the buyer, and on acceptance, credit will go to 2B for recipient and then 3B, and liability would be created from 1 to 3B for suppliers. So supplier is making payment, it's being insured. This process was not existing prior to October 24. When it was not existing, how you can penalize me? You are introducing now. There is a concept called doctrine of impossibility. You cannot compel a person to do something impossible, which you are introducing now. So where is the fault of recipient and buyer? And believe me, she has granted me a relief and given me that credit. And now she has also referred to the department that you should go back and catch hold of that NAICAP supplier. Who is the defaulter supplier? Even after collecting, he has not deposited. You can't demand reversal from the buyer. So IMS is going to be way forward. Of course, it is adding some, compliances work to you, but this is really at invoice level. Matching would be done, credit dispute would be denied, and being bona fide recipient, you can be ensured that this credit is available to you. So this was on point 1, GSTR 3B, beyond 3B, and way forward. I have tried to simplify it in 3-4 example, but there are a lot of things which we can carry on and discuss. But this was the point number 1, which I have discussed briefly to all of you. Now coming back to the point number 2. Incentive and discount offered by the supplier. Take the same example. I'm your supplier. You all are my buyer, recipient. I have supplied goods to you 100 rupees and charge 18% GST. You as a buyer has taken credit of 18 rupees, which is IGST charge from Delhi to Tamil Nadu. Now, when I'm giving you some incentive or some discount by whatever name called, There are two ways of discount which is being discussed under section 15 subsection 3 of CGST Act. The one discount which is being given at the time of supply, it can be deducted immediately on raising of tax invoice, and GST must be charged on net of discount figure, transaction value. Only dispute lies that when discount or incentive offered after supply is being made under section 15 subsection 3 clause B of CGST Act. In such case, what provision is saying that supplier can issue a credit note to the recipient, provided three conditions are satisfied. There is agreement between both of us, which is entered prior or at the time of supply is being made. I can offer you discount, let's say 10 rupees and 18% applied, 1.80, 1 rupee 80 paisa, 1 rupee 80 paisa. And this credit note must be linked with the invoices. These are the three conditions. Now, supplier giving you post-supply discount, it may be on account of trade discount, cash discount, milestone. In supply chain, we have seen a lot of, discounting schemes are being offered to the distributor, dealer and sub-dealer. Now, if Bimal Jain, being supplier, raising credit note of 10 rupees, let's say on trade discount, charging 1.80, then supplier will get adjustment of 1.80 with its output tax liability. And what you need to do, being recipient, you need to reverse credit of 1.80. This is what the system for the credit note. But the challenge which we were facing in the past, and we are getting a lot of so-called notices and litigation, how come supplier will ensure that recipient has reversed the credit? He was having no mechanism. So keeping this in mind is circular number 212, dated 26th of June 2024. CBIC has clarified till the time this functionality is being made operational on GSTN portal for the past period. If supplier want to get adjustment of 1.80 with his output tax liability, then he can take certificate from the buyer, from the recipient, that he has reversed the credit. If tax component is more than 5 lakh, then a certificate from a practicing chartered accountant or cost accountant of recipient can be taken by supplier for getting adjustment of the tax component on credit note. That is what circular is clarifying for the past period. But now it is being made operational on GSTN portal. If credit note issued by supplier linked with the invoices, it is automatically reversing buyer's credit. And even the negative values can be picked up in 3B because of this credit note impact. This is also made operational on GSTN portal. So this is what the credit note concept pertaining to incentive or discount. Somebody asked me, and which I'm posting to all of you, whether discount or incentive are same. Please tell me. He's asking is discount and incentive are same. I'm sure you can see each other's comment right on in a comment box. Am I right? Please tell me whether discount or incentive are same. In technical terms, this is not same. Incentive which is being given for, incentivizing you, and discount is being offered for certain other parameter. So those are two different parameter, but ultimately when supplier is giving discount or incentivizing you, then he is giving that benefit to you, and that benefit must be passed on through a credit note under GST under section 34 subsection 1 and subsection 2. So this is the process. Now credit note can be issued in four given situation. When supplier has excessively charged the taxable value which was not supposed to be, or tax calculated thereon, and wherever there is return of goods by you, by recipient, distributor, dealer, or when there is deficiency in goods and services, four specific situations are being prescribed under section 34 subsection 1 for issuance of credit note. So how the credit note works, I have communicated to you, but what litigation has started in the market? Listen. First litigation. When I'm offering you credit note, supplier offering you credit note, then department is alleging that you are giving services to me, to supplier, and that should be chargeable to GST. Am I right? Are you facing the similar kind of problem which we are facing in northern part of India? So I'm sure you are facing the same in southern part of India. That is what their allegation is. Now listen. We have, at least I'm committing from my side, I have met with member GST, and I have taken up, discussed this matter with the GST council officials and CBIC policy wing commissioner also. I said you are creating litigation for no reason. When supplier is issuing credit note, it is linked to the base supply, principal supply he has made. How can you allege that services are being offered by the distributor and dealer? So there's some discount or incentive. But let's say if distributor or dealer or sub-dealer is doing some services, like marketing services, genuinely, and for which supplier supposed to pay, that can be termed as a supply of service. But when it is through an agreement linked with my principal supply of tax invoice, and credit note is referring the tax invoice number also, how can you allege that? So to my mind, this litigation need to be avoided, so that you make sure whenever credit note linked with the invoices having backing of the agreement entered before or at the time of supply, you can defend yourself. But make sure if you are a distributor, dealer, sub-dealer is getting paid through a credit note, but that is actually service taken by the supplier from you, then that may be chargeable to GST. This is the point number one. Point number two, when I'm issuing credit note for 10 rupees, then quite obvious you will not pay 10 rupees to me, to supplier. And to that extent, there's a sort of payment to the extent of 10 rupees. Section 16, subsection 2, second proviso. If recipient fails to pay within 180 days, you need to reverse credit, right? But here you are not paying because of credit note. It is only accounting entry. do you really require to reverse credit in case of credit note, which I'm discussing? Please tell me yes or no. Please tell me yes and no. Do you require to reverse credit in such cases? Because 10 rupees being recipient, you are not paying because of credit note issued by the supplier. And believe me, there is a AAAR judgment of Tamil Nadu only in the case of MRF Limited. MRF Limited. And they have categorically said it is only accounting entry and should not be considered short paid. Hence, second provision of section 16, subsection 2 is not applicable. Clarity? Now, coming back, one of the relevance of IMS pertaining to credit note. Very interesting one. Why IMS way forward is important. Mr. Ganesh wanted me, what should be the way forward? Listen very carefully. I'm a supplier, right? Let's say I'm raising credit note for 10 rupees, applying 1.80, the 18% GST, and I will get adjustment with my outward tax liability as a supplier. And you need to reverse 1.80, which is happening through a portal now. In IMS, credit note raised by the supplier will also come back to you. You can view that credit note raised by your supplier. They are saying in case of credit note, you will have only two actions, either accept or reject. No action means deemed acceptance. You're not having pending action. Why you're not having pending action? Let me tell you. On IMS, if you accept credit note, then supplier is getting adjustment of 1.80 and your credit get reversed automatically. All match. But for some reason, you're rejecting credit note, which is issued by the supplier. Then IMS is having, the process. Let's say we are in the month of May. I'm raising a credit note in the month of May and getting adjustment of 1.80 for the month of May. But you have rejected the credit notes. Then your credit will not get reversed because you have rejected the credit note. And whatever adjustment I got in the month of May will be added with my output tax liability in the month of June. That is how this mathematics they are going to reconcile. So IMS is really way forward. Invoice label matching and all adjustment which is being done on invoice label getting cross-checked, verified. So you must look at IMS in detail part. And let me tell you, if you go to my YouTube channel, by the way, how many of you are on my YouTube channel? If you can say yes in a chat box, because I'm posting many videos. I'm creating short videos also, creating long videos also. And let me tell you, we are trying our best that we can provide a real helpful hand, and it is free. Rest assured, no marketing from my side, that it is paid. It is free to all of you. Of course, we are trying, even on IMS, I have made many webinar and PPT, which is available on my YouTube channel, which you can watch for your preparation. Bimal Jain GST YouTube, you will get immediately. This is the on credit note concept. Now coming back to the debit note, important one. Debit note can be issued by the supplier in two given situations. First, when I need to charge higher taxable value as against 100 rupees, I need to make it 120, or tax thereon should be higher. Then supplier is permitted to issue debit note under section 34, section 3 of CGST Act. Now, this is the simplest way to understand supplier raising debit note, charging GST. You will get the credit of the GST component provided it is for your taxable outward supply. Only one question here, and apply your mind and give me the answer. let's say pertaining to any invoice of 1920, or let's say 2021, financial year 2021, I've supplied something to you, 1 lakh rupees. I realize now, no, it should be 1,20,000. So I'm raising debit note today for 20,000, applying GST and raising today's date, but pertaining to 2021. Pertaining to 2021. My question goes to all of you. If this debit note dated today pertaining to financial year 2021, is it not barred by limitation for availing credit under section 16, subsection 4? This is my simple and critical question. Is it not barred by limitation? Please say yes or no. So Santhanam, yes. So please, I want more answer so that I should feel that you are participating. And lot of yes, it is barred by limitation, but let me tell you, it is not barred by limitation. It is not barred by limitation. Effective from 1st January 2021, debit note is delinked with the invoices raised in the past. If debit note is dated today, then it is financial year 25-26 would be the relevant for calculating time limit under section 16, subsection 4. So that will not be barred by limitation. Hope I'm clear. Please say yes. In a chat box, say at least yes, you got it. This change made from 1st January 2021. Now coming back to the last component of today's date, which has been given to me, expired goods. Expired goods. So Vijay is saying yes, but what the time limit for issuing such debit note? There's no time limit for issuing debit note. Only time limit for credit note. That is by 30th November of succeeding financial year. So one more suggestion, since you asked it, that's the reason I'm sharing with you. Wherever time limit expired for the credit note, you can issue financial or commercial credit note also. Financial or commercial credit note also. In case of financial or commercial credit note, there is no GST component. Neither supplier will get any adjustment of GST component because he is not charging GST, and nor recipient need to reverse credit. That is the reason it's called financial or commercial credit note, and it is normally being issued when time limit get expired, because for issuance of credit note, time limit is 30th November of succeeding financial year. And this 30th November made effective from 1st of October 2022. Prior to that, it was 30th September. Hope I'm clear. So Mr. Vijay, who has introduced me, I have explained to him. So this part is over. Now coming to the last component, expired goods. Expired goods. Listen this part, 5-7 minutes, and then we can sum up, and then we can take any questions of anyone. I will do open house also. There's a short, when I'm interacting with my friends from South India, I will try to respond back to your queries as well, because Mr. Ganesh was after me for a long that please do one webinar. He wanted me to come all the way from Delhi to your place. I said for 100% is very, why can't you do webinar? So privilege talking to you, to each of you. You're sitting at your home office and still listening to me. I'm thankful to each one of you for your time. Let's listen the last topic of the day. Okay, so Mr. Viswanathan is saying we are also enjoying. Thank you very much. In case of expired goods, I'm your supplier. In FMCG, in pharmaceutical, medicine, lot many, cosmetics, there's the expiry of the product, and goods gets expired after the defined time period. That may be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. So supplier has supplied the goods, and let's say it got expired with you, your distributor or dealer or sub-dealer. So you are having that expired goods. Then you are not in a position to sell in the market, right? So how this transaction need to be done? There is a specific circular number 72. You can take down circular number 72, dated 26th of October 2018. This circular will help you to understand, because this circular is very much relevant on expired goods for medicine and pharmaceutical, but analogy can be drawn for other product also, wherever expiry is happening. They have suggested two mode. The first mode, you as a distributor or dealer or sub-dealer can generate the tax invoice to me, because you have purchased from me only. I can be manufacturer also. I can be distributor for your dealer. Any example, supplier and recipient, that concept you should keep to your mind. So when you're returning goods to me, you should raise tax invoice, charge GST. On what value? The same value at which you have purchased the goods from me. If you have purchased the goods at 1 lakh rupees, your value would be 1 lakh, apply the tax rate, raise the tax invoice, and return expired goods to me. What I will do, I can avail the credit provided I satisfy the condition, section 16, subsection 2. And then when I'm destroying such expired goods, I need to reverse credit. In terms of section 17, subsection 5, clause H, goods lost, stolen, destroyed, written off by way of gift or sample or otherwise. When I'm destroying such expired goods, I need to reverse credit. Now, question which I'm going to ask you. Let's say on 1 lakh, you charge 18%, 1,80,000. So I need to reverse this 1,80,000 on destroying the expired goods, or the ITC component of input for manufacture of this expired goods. Let's say that is only 1,50,000. So what amount I need to reverse? 1,80,000 or 1,50,000? Tell me in a chat box. Tell me in a chat box. I hope my question is clear to all of you, right? Okay, so I got the first answer from someone, iPhone. He has not named iPhone. I am looking for the answer from others. How much reversal need to be done on destruction of this goods, expired goods? I'm still looking for the answer. Just I got one answer. So Ganesh is saying 180. Kusal is saying 180. If you look at from my perspective, Mr. Sridharan is saying 180. Of course, they are saying in terms of circular. Circular is saying 1,80,000. But I'm of the opinion it should be 1,50,000 rupees. See, as per section 17, subsection 5, clause H, listen very carefully. It is saying that credit is not available on goods lost, stolen, destroyed, and written off. So they are talking about input component. They are not talking about input service component or value addition component. To that extent, it is subject to litigation, but I've given my humble opinion to you. Point number one. Coming back to the second option, how it can be done. It can be done through credit note also. That supplier can raise the credit note he will get the adjustment with his outward tax liability. You need to reverse credit, and then on destruction, credit need to be reversed. This is on the credit note concept. Now here, one important aspect is in case of credit note, there is possibility that you need not require to dispatch the expired goods and incur the transportation cost. It can be destroyed at your premises, but you should make sure you are doing this transaction under intimation to the department, so that that department is well informed that you are not bringing back expired goods to save the transportation cost, and it is getting destroyed at your customer premises, and you're reversing credit which you are required to do, and that might help you. So hope this part is also clear to you. Tell me whether these two components which I discussed, am I clear? First say yes, then I would be comfortable that you got it. Okay. So Mr. Biswanath is coming back and saying yes, 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 yes. So, all right. Every one of you has said yes. So I'm through with the topic given to me for 1 hour. I've done all the pointers which are given to me. I've tried to make it lucid without PowerPoint presentation. First you tell me. Hope all of you got good insight and you have understood without PowerPoint presentation and doing this interactive way of, webinar. From my side, I've tried my best. I do not know to what extent I have satisfied you guys. Hope you all got it. Am I clear to all? Okay, yes, without PPT, is this too good? All right, thank you. Without PowerPoint only, okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, super satisfied. Kaushal is saying super satisfied. Excellent. Thank you very much. Now I'm open for the question answer. So those who want to ask question, they can unmute and ask one by one.
So anyone having any questions, you please ask.
Sir, very good evening, sir. This is Kushal here, Chairman from Pondicherry branch.
Yeah, Mr. Kushal, tell me.
So what is the situation where, for example, there is a tiles industry, right? So when my customer has purchased tiles, he would have purchased at 100 rupees per square feet. But over a period of time, those tiles designs have become obsolete or outdated. They are not expired or damaged ones. They are still saleable. But then the 100 rupee product, which I had a margin of 20%, 30%, whatever it is, I'm unable to sell at the same price because of its outdated designs. Now I end up selling at that 40 rupees, 50 rupees.
You need not require to reverse. You need not require to reverse.
Sir, in case, good evening, sir. I am Sanjay
No,
Rakesh.
first, let me have confirmation from Mr. Kaushal.
Yeah, okay, fine, yeah.
Because transaction value.
Transaction value. Same is the assumption with respect to increase or decrease in prices. For example, I've taken a gold, I've purchased.
Yeah, definitely yes, because section 15.
Yeah.
And two condition that you should not be related party and price should be the sole consideration.
Understood. Clear, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Hello.
Yeah, next, yeah.
Good evening, sir. Sanjay Rakesh speaking.
Yeah.
Sir, I have one doubt regarding incentive and incentive. In some cases, I see that the supplier does not raise the GST invoice, credit note for the incentive. Straightforward, they issue the incentive without GST component.
So they are not issuing credit note under GST. They are issuing credit note, which is called financial credit note or commercial credit note.
Yes, sir. Is this wrong? Is this right?
No, it is doable. No problem. Because in financial credit note, quite obvious, supplier is not getting any adjustment of tax component on credit note, right?
Right.
And then you need not require to reverse any credit also.
But sir, in case the representative of the incentive get the struggle with the department, they ask you, it's a supplier, you have to pay the GST.
See, there was one circular which was issued sometime March 2019.
Okay, sir.
They have accepted this component of financial or commercial credit note.
Okay, okay.
So this concept is prevalent, and try to understand credit note comes with a time foundation of 30th November.
Yes.
What happened if that after 3 years, if something gets decided, then
Right.
credit note, no adjustment will be available.
No.
Then what the option I have left out? Financial credit note.
That is a credit note.
So that is what happening. It is as per within the 4 parameters. See, commercial credit note is not giving any adjustment to the supplier, hence no reversal by the recipient.
Okay.
And for credit note under GST, since supplier getting adjustment of the tax component, thereby recipient must reverse credit to that extent. Hope I'm clear. Sanjay ji? Sanjay ji, am I clear?
Voice.
Sanjay ji, am I clear?
Sir, your voice was not audible actually, right? Last.
Might be simple. I said again repeating that
Please,
credit
sir.
note under GST, supplier gets adjustment, hence recipient need to reverse credit. Financial
Okay.
credit note, neither supplier getting adjustment, hence there is no need of reversal by the recipient. That's what I said. Revenue neutral.
Okay. Then I can state for cases, this is a financial instrument. Credit note.
Of course, of course, of course.
That is okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Anyone else? If not, then last point to all of you. Mr. Ganesh promised me that I will be getting more than 170 participants today.
Sir, in case of credit note issued by the supplier without GST adjustment, department asks GST from the buyer. You have to raise the GST invoice
No,
for this.
they are raising concern if you can substantiate with the supply made in the past, then you can always say that. And financial credit note beyond the time limit, that is the reason it is not being disclosed on GSTN portal.
Okay.
So that is
It's
how.
not the supply from us, no. It is not the supply from buyer. We can establish, no. They are saying that it is supply from buyer. That's why credit note
No,
is.
they are only disputing for the sake of disputing the transaction in the market.
Okay.
Even credit note under GST also they are disputing. They are saying that this is nothing but services by the distributor and dealer to the manufacturer.
Okay.
It is not. Am I right in saying so?
Yes, sir.
So they are disputing so many things.
Okay.
But we have to be careful with the substantiation and documentation in place.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So before I sum up, just one liner to all of you. That of course I know that I got many friends from Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala, and I'm thankful to all 3 branches, Kumbakonam and Tiruchirappalli and Puducherry branch. I have never visited these branches. Opportunity given for a big program, it would be my pleasure to come down and definitely deliberate in person. And then we can enjoy the light session of, being physical interaction with each one of you. Would be my pleasure as well. But you can tune on my social media, any platform, Insta, YouTube, LinkedIn, anywhere, for all regular GST update and whatever things are changing, notifications, circular, we are trying our best to post it ASAP. So maybe that might help you in your GST journey to get yourself updated. And quite obvious, that will help you to build your career and do a lot of professional activities accordingly, like IMS, way forward. When I posted a query, I got the answer IMS is more compliances, but IMS is going to give you a lot of, it will reduce a lot of dispute which we have seen in the past. So beyond GSTR 3B, it is now way forward IMS. It is from supplier driven, but of course, recipient is being given power to accept, reject, pending, and no action. So you can use this weapon for making sure your ITC is not being denied for either or region. So I'm thanking all the professional colleagues. Thanks for watching, and let's be tuned together. That is what I can say, and God bless all of us together. Thank you very much. Mr.
Thank you,
Ganesh,
sir.
hand it over to you.
So Bimal sir, Vijay here. I have posted 2 questions directly to your chat box. Is it okay? You can take it up.
I didn't get you.
Vijay Sarthi here. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, please tell me.
Yeah, I have posted 2 questions directly to your chat box. Shall I read it out? Or?
You can quickly read it out because I'm running now sort of time.
No, sir. Notice has been sent for conducting audit by CGST authorities from financial year 17-18 to 23-24.
17-18, what he will do?
Now he has sent the notice.
So you can always say, how can you do that? 17-18 is barred by limitation. You
Yeah,
can't do anything for 17-18.
Even for audit.
Even for audit, what he will do under section 65 for 17-18, even though he comes out with any particular issue, he can't issue even 74 so-called notice.
Yeah, 73 and 74 time barred, sir. So that only I must.
Yeah, of course.
The notice time limit itself, we can object it.
See, audit, after doing audit, he's going to raise demand through so-called notice, right?
Yes.
When that limitation is gone, what he will do?
That only. So that no objection shall we give right away now itself or after issuing?
You can do right away also for 17-18. You can always communicate to him, sir, 18-19 onwards, if time limit is open, of course, he can do audit and found some discrepancy in case. But 17-18, even though you're finding some difference, some discrepancy, you can't do anything. It is beyond limitation.
Yes, sir. Oh, fine, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you to each one of you. Not giving, but
Thank you.
yeah, thank you very much. Take care and God bless all of us together. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Ganesh sir.
Okay, welcome. This is conclude remarks.
Yeah.
Ganesh, thank you. Subhav.
Thank you, sir.
On behalf
Thank
of
you.
all the 3 branches, Kumbakonam, Puducherry, and Trichy, we sincerely thank all the participants, and I hope you all had a wonderful session. And as the topic says, it is beyond 3B. Always, Bimal is also beyond regular seminar. I hope you all really enjoyed it. Thank you for both the session speakers, B. Nadarajan and Bimal Jain. Thank you once again. Good night.
Thank you.
Ganesh sir, shall we close the session?